Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. All right, guys. Today, I'm going to be giving you my list of must-start players for Week 3. Now, these are guys that are going to explode this week. Okay, you have to get them in your lineup. So, I'm going to start right here with the first player on my list, and that's Mike Williams. Now, Mike Williams is about to have his first huge explosion game this year. We know that this guy's boom or bust, so you got to play him in the right matchups. He's not going to be in your starting lineup every week. But he needs to be in your starting lineup this week because this dude's about to go off. The nature of Vikings and Chargers games, the Minnesota Vikings, right? They're always involved in shootouts. The Chargers are always involved in shootouts. This should be the highest scoring game on the slate, and I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Okay? Minnesota, they put points on the board fast. They force their opponents to play from behind. The Chargers kind of do the same thing. So these teams could be going back and forth all game, and they probably will. Mike Williams is going to have to get targeted often in this game. I think he's going to see double-digit targets in this game and have his first breakout game this year. Obviously, Keenan Allen is going to be ranked ahead of Mike Williams. Most people are going to be playing Keenan Allen ahead of Mike Williams if you happen to have both of them. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Williams outperformed Keenan Allen this week. We know that there's a certain handful of weeks out of the year where Mike Williams has the big game and kind of outplays Keenan Allen, right, from a fantasy perspective. I think this is going to be one of those games because they're going to be having to get the ball downfield. Mike Williams is still the deep threat on this team. I love him to have a huge breakout this week. He has to be in your starting lineup this week. And honestly, if you have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, I wouldn't be afraid to just plug both of them into my lineup because I think that they can both produce awesome numbers in this game. Next player on my list is going to be Nico Collins. Now, this is a guy who's seen 20 targets in 2 games. He's the clear target hog in the offense. Obviously, Nathaniel Dell is emerging as the other target hog in the offense. But as of right now, Nico Collins is the number 1 wide receiver in Houston. And this team passes the ball like crazy because they can't run the ball. Their run game has been super ineffective, right? Which sucks because I drafted a decent amount of Dameon Pierce on Underdog. And that's not looking very good right now, but it's early. But look, this team has to pass the ball to move the ball. They're going to be playing from behind against Jacksonville. The game script favors Nico Collins. We've got an alpha in Nico Collins, guys. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got the profile of an alpha wide receiver. He can run good routes, he can run after the catch. This guy's a stud, and they're finally giving him the volume he deserves. I love him to go off in this game. He might be on your bench right now, but he can't be. He has to be in your starting lineup this week against Jacksonville. Yeah. So, next one, Jordan Addison against the LA Chargers. Now, like I said, this is going to be a shootout game. And these type of scoring games where, they're one of the highest scoring, if not the highest scoring game on the slate, you want every offensive stud on both sides of the ball, especially the wide receivers. Jordan Addison is going to go off in this game. I don't necessarily expect Jordan Addison to sustain the level of production that he's had early in the season throughout the whole season, but I do expect him to be awesome in this game. And, look, this dude, he only needs 5 or 6 targets to produce elite fantasy numbers. We've seen that early in the season because he likes to get down the field, stretch the field, and make big plays. This is going to be a shootout-style game, perfect for starting big play wide receivers like Jordan Addison. I love this dude to explode this week against the Chargers. Next player on my list is going to be Jamir Gibbs. You have to have Jamir Gibbs in your lineup this week, guys. You have to. Look, everyone on the Lions is banged up. Amon-Ra St. Brown is playing with the turf toe injury. I think he is going to play, but will he receive as many targets as he usually does? Maybe, but maybe not. He might see 2 or 3 less targets than he normally does because they don't want to get him re-injured, right? So I think he's going to be on the field, but he's banged up. Josh Reynolds might not even play. If he does, he's going to be playing banged up. David Montgomery's banged up. I mean, this whole entire offense is injured right now. So Jamir Gibbs is going to have more opportunity share in this game than he's seen so far in the first 2 games. He's going to run the ball more. He's going to see probably 8 to 10 targets out of the backfield. I'd be very surprised if he didn't replicate what he did last week with getting 10 targets in this game. Atlanta is not really a defense that you're scared to start anybody against. Jamir Gibbs should be able to run effectively and catch passes effectively against this Atlanta defense. I love Jamir Gibbs to absolutely explode this week. It would be highly irresponsible to have Jamir Gibbs on your bench this week. Next player on my list is going to be Gus Edwards. Now, I was telling everybody to grab Gus Edwards over Justice Hill on the waiver wire last week, and I got a lot of pushback on it, and pretty much all of the fantasy experts were saying to grab Justice Hill over Gus Edwards. And I just thought this was the stupidest thing ever. Look, Gus Edwards has a track record. This dude has never averaged less than 5 yards per carry in a season. This dude ran the ball 10 carries for 62 yards, averaging 6.2 yards per carry last week. He's way better than Justice Hill from a pure running standpoint. The fact that Justice Hill is supposed to split the backfield with him is just silly to me. Gus Edwards can easily head this backfield. And with Justice Hill banged up this week, it looks like Gus Edwards is going to be getting pretty much the entire workload in this backfield. And against the Indianapolis Colts, I mean, the Colts have been like decent, I guess, but I think the Ravens will be playing with a lead in this game, meaning Gus Edwards could see 15 to 16 carries. And with his efficiency, 15 to 16 carries can lead to 100-plus yards and a touchdown. In fact, I'd be surprised if Gus Edwards got you less than 15 fantasy points this week in standard formats. I think for PPR formats, well, it doesn't really matter whether it's PPR or standard for Gus Edwards because he doesn't catch passes, right? But PPR, standard, any format, I think he's going to give you 15 points this week. I have a good feeling that he's going to get you 15 or more points with a ceiling of maybe 20 points if he happens to get lucky enough to score 2 touchdowns or maybe break a big run. But this dude's an elite runner. He's elite as far as his yards per carry efficiency. He's going to get the entire workload this week on a team that's going to be in the red zone often. I love Gus Edwards to explode this week. You've got to have him in your lineup. Next and final player on my list is going to be Dak Prescott. Now, this is a guy who, he's a talented quarterback for fantasy purposes anyway, right? As far as real life NFL talent, I think he might be a little bit overrated, but for fantasy, he's great because he slings the ball a lot. And look, he was 31 of 38 passing last week. Okay. And that was against a very good Jets defense. So they're about to dismantle the Cardinals. Now, granted, the Cowboys are probably going to be playing with a lead for this entire game because there's no way the Cardinals are winning this game. I mean, we all know that the Cowboys are winning this game, right? A lot of NFL games, you never know. Anybody can beat anybody, but the Cardinals are not beating the Cowboys. It's just not going to happen. The Cowboys are going to be playing with the lead, so they might be running the ball a little bit more than normal. But they're still probably going to pass on 50% of their plays, like every NFL team does. It's pretty much close to a 50-50 split between running plays and passing plays. That's just how it works. So even playing with the lead, they're going to be passing the ball 50% of the time. We've got all these passing weapons, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, he's a little bit banged up. We're going to see what happens with him. Jake Ferguson has emerged as a good pass-catching tight end. Tony Pollard is an elite receiver out of the backfield. He could even line up out wide and be an elite wide receiver. We've got a lot of really good pass catchers in Dallas. So I love Dak Prescott to just totally dismantle Arizona in this game. If he gave you 30 points, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. It would be highly irresponsible to sit Dak Prescott in this game because he's about to explode. All right, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Catch you later.